Speaking on behalf of JoBlo.com, I can say without a doubt that we all love Sylvester Stallone. Personally, I have a soft spot for Stallone's 1990s films, which featured him playing the closest thing to a superhero before the days of Marvel Studios and the DCEU. From Demolition Man to Judge Dredd, Stallone defined big screen action alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis without needing spandex or superpowers. Now, for the first time in his career, Stallone is headlining a true superhero movie that harkens back to the type of film he made at the peak of his career. Even at age 76, Stallone brings his A-game to Samaritan, a comic book-inspired action flick that captures the essence of what made Sly a household name. While the movie may not showcase a scale we have come to expect from superhero movies these days, Samaritan has a few tricks up its sleeve that helps make it a welcome addition to the genre and Stallone's legacy. You should put all expectation for Samaritan aside. If you're thinking this movie is going to be on the level of any other superhero film released since Iron Man, you're going to be disappointed. Rather than imitate the ambitious CGI-heavy films from Marvel or DC, Samaritan is a smaller, more concentrated superhero movie that feels closer to the scope and scale of movies like Blade, The Crow, or even Stallone's own Demolition Man. Set in fictional Granite City, Samaritan opens with a quick synopsis of the feud between the title hero and his arch-rival, Nemesis. In the intervening years, crime has rebounded in the absence of Samaritan and has left die-hard fans like young Sam Cleary, played by Javon Wana Walton, and conspiracy theorists like Arthur, played by Martin Starr, searching for the fallen hero. Sam begins to think a garbage man named Joe Smith, played by Stallone, may be Samaritan, but he struggles to prove it. When Sam falls in with a criminal named Cyrus, played by Pilu Asbeck, Joe reveals his abilities to save Sam's life, which sets the two on a direct path opposite Cyrus and his goons. From the very start of the movie, Samaritan is very much Javon Walton's movie. The young star of Euphoria takes center stage from the opening voiceover through the entirety of the film. Much like Austin O'Brien opposite Schwarzenegger in Last Action Hero, Walton's obsession with his idol drives this story while showing his home life with his mother Isabel, played by Dasha Polanco. Stallone portrays Joe Smith as an older, broken-down man who reflects on his superhero legacy with a mix of fondness and regrets over how it came to an end. The final showdown between Samaritan and Nemesis weighs heavily on Joe, and Stallone brings weariness to his performance that is refreshingly sincere. Like his final turns as Rocky Balboa in the Creed films, Stallone embraces the fact that he is in his 70s and brings that to this performance.
Oh, cool.
It also helps that Stallone is surrounded by a cast of younger actors who all complement his approach and help make the movie feel far more emotionally grounded than you would expect from a comic book movie. Samaritan also benefits from a solid antagonist in Cyrus. Rather than making this movie about a character with enhanced abilities facing off with an enemy who has equal powers, Pilu Asbeck channels a fierce energy that makes Cyrus a capable human foe who more than holds his own opposite Sylvester Stallone. Asbeck, best known to audiences as Euron Greyjoy on Game of Thrones, joins the annals of Stallone movie villains like Wesley Snipes and Rutger Hauer. Asbeck plays Cyrus as a mid-level criminal who rises to take on the city in the name of his hero, the fallen Nemesis. It is a more believable angle than many superhero movie villains, and one that I initially felt may not work, but thanks to Asbeck's ability to balance humor and menace, it works pretty well. Samaritan also has solid performances from Sophia Tatum as Syl, Moises Arias as Reza, and Jarek Odrick as Farshad, who round out Cyrus's crew. Bragi shoots screenplay based on a spec script he wrote with Mark Ollivant and Renzo Podesta, and was also the inspiration for a 2014 comic book of the same name, delves into the origin of Samaritan and Nemesis while remaining vague on their abilities. By keeping the few scenes with the costume characters and flashbacks, it doesn't really feel very much like a superhero movie a lot of the time. That feels like an intentional decision by director Julius Avery, who keeps a lot of the action gritty and hand-to-hand rather than showcasing big sweeping CGI set pieces. The effects are primarily of a practical nature, and that sometimes makes the scope of Samaritan look underwhelming compared to big-budget films like Doctor Strange or even Disney Plus series like Moon Knight. The scenes involving Stallone being de-aged are the weakest I have seen on the big screen and may end up making a lot of audiences groan with disappointment. What I found surprising about Samaritan was the final act of the film, which is at once very fun to watch and predictably unpredictable. Many of the beats of this story are familiar, and you'll likely see them coming. The story teases out a reveal that some will be pleasantly surprised with, while others will probably be a little frustrated. I found myself liking Samaritan more and more as the story continued, despite a lot of the first half of the film feeling generic and lacking anything we have not already seen a million times before. What ultimately helped me appreciate this movie is Stallone's willingness to play a superhero without relying on the conventions of an expected origin story or firmly entrenched mythology as so many Marvel and DC projects are saddled with. Julius Avery's direction is solid, but doesn't really offer anything astounding to distinguish it from any other superhero film, while the score by Jed Kurzel and Kevin Kilner is far better than I expected it to be. Samaritan is a good action movie, but a mediocre superhero tale. A different kind of origin story, this movie is a nice late career performance from Sylvester Stallone that proves how much potential he had to lead a comic book franchise had this project come about 20 years ago. Samaritan serves as a nice cap to Stallone's loose superhero trilogy alongside Demolition Man and Judge Dredd. Prime Video is a good outlet for this since it is not epic enough to warrant a big screen push. I enjoyed my trip to Granite City and would not be opposed to exploring further adventures in this world, especially if Stallone were willing to become Samaritan at least one more time. That's why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching JoBlo videos. If you like this content, make sure to like this video and click on the bell to receive notifications for our latest videos.
I think we're finished here.